So is this?
Nah, man, that's not it.
No.
Nope. Hey, kings and queens. After a few days pondering on this topic, I came to the conclusion that knowledge is not power, right? It's a tool. And what good is a tool if you don't use it? So, I've been pondering about this for a little bit, the past few days it's just been bugging me, especially over the years I've also been hearing this, it comes and goes, you hear it from family, friends, associates, co-workers, leaders in your community, right? Maybe your supervisors that, hey man, knowledge is power, right? Read, research, do this, do that, right? So you kind of got this idea embedded into your head that knowledge is power. But like I said, is it really? Nah. What good is it if you're not putting it to use, right? Let's say financial freedom, because that's what all of us is trying to go for. So you might have knowledge about NFL, right? Sports, stocks, real estate. You might have website creations, all this type of stuff, right? You might have all this knowledge. It's just like your particular interest. But what good is it if it's up here and it's not doing you any good, right? You're not putting it to use, right? So we all have these things. And all this information just built up in us and we don't use it. That's why I came to the conclusion, and that's why I'm telling you all that knowledge is not power. You need to use it in your day-to-day life. Put that information to good use, right? So we all know somebody that's very informative in a certain category. Right? We all know people that know a lot about music, old school up into the new school, sports that could break down somebody's bio, from the ground up. They know their social security numbers and all that stuff. But what good is it, right? Just look around you. Look how much information is surrounding you right now. Even it might be yourself. You might know so much about, let's say, drop shipping, right? But have you done it? Have you created a Shopify website? Have you at least tried to put that knowledge to good use, right? Nah. And there's so much people around us in our community, in our close vicinity, that has so much potential with this knowledge, but we don't use it. And why is that, right? Yes, you gotta look at yourself, man. You gotta remember that just because you got this knowledge, it means nothing if you don't use it. Especially if it has like a financial gain in your life, like that, if you can use it to bring a little extra money coming in. Hey, quick pause. If you like what you're hearing so far, subscribe to the channel, give us a little like, or if you have any feedback, negative or positive, we appreciate all of it, man. Thanks.
Okay, so how can somebody actually apply that tool into towards financial freedom or towards passive income or something like that? Could be that they have the knowledge of it. How can they actually start using it?
Man, that's perfect, right? Because let's say it's with music or sports, right? And that's something that a lot of people know about, right? You hear every day these conversations, maybe at work, at home, out and about. You hear people just talking about it. So why not take that information and start a blog? Create a website, start a blog, start dominating in your community. Maybe even start a podcast or a YouTube channel. Just strictly just talking about that. You was already doing it, right? You was already talking about it, but now you just directing it a little bit to see if you get a little financial gains, right? You might not get no traction for the first parts of it, but at least you're putting the information to use that you have the potential to make something off of it, right? Who knows? A year or two of doing that podcast, you might end up on a little radio show, right? Because you might be dominating this community, dominating in your neighborhood. Everybody gets to know you as, hey man, that's Kelvin, that's the music, you want to know about music? He got information, right? Check out his website, listen to his podcast. So now after a couple months, couple years, you start becoming that go-to guy, and that information that you took, that useless information that was just your conversations, right? Now you're putting it to use, and potentially that you can make some financial gains off of it. That's just one way, right?
Oh, okay.
And there's many other ways also, but that's just one way that you can do it. And trust me, I was just there also, right? A few years ago, I was trying to get information. I was gaining all this information about cars, mechanics, real estate, investing. I was doing all this type of stuff, but I was never putting it to use. I was never trying to gain any financial freedom off of it or anything, right? I just had all this information just stuck up in me, right? And I'd have conversations with people, and then I noticed that, what good is it? Once again, knowledge is not power; it's a tool. And what good is a tool if you don't use it? And then now that I know this, I'm actually taking action, and that's another thing. You get the information, you put it to use, and you start taking action. Just start it. Starting is the hardest thing, but once you get going, it'll just flow. And if it's something you love doing, it'll just come natural, man. You got it. Hey, kings and queens, now you know how I feel on this topic. Knowledge is not power. I'd like to hear how you feel. Leave a comment, let me know if you agree or disagree. I'd really love that feedback. And also don't forget to subscribe, like it, share it with somebody. This might be something useful to them or to yourself or whoever, right? And thanks a lot for watching. Peace.